Hi everyone, I'm V with Passions and Distractions. Now you might already know me from my blog. You might actually also know me from the other videos that I have on my channel, that are about paper crafting or things like that. But those aren't the only things I love to do. One of the things that I really love to do and have been doing for a long time is working with chocolate. Now it's really, really simple to work with chocolate as a home cook, and you can start to create molded chocolates. You can create lots of different recipes and your friends are going to love them, and they make great gifts. So where we're going to start today is just the basics of working with chocolate and creating a chocolate bar or two. So here are the ones that I use. Now the first one is put out by Wilton, and these are called candy melts. And this is just already chocolate that you just put it in the microwave and you melt it, and it already comes in different colors. Now I have to be honest, I don't love the taste of these personally. I don't know why, but I just don't. So I really tend to use these more for color work. It's a great way to just get a consistent color without me having to do it with food coloring. The other two are what I normally use. So this is a white candy coating that's vanilla flavored, and of course I can use it for colors as well if I just need like a little bit. I just need a little green or something like that, and I don't have the candy melt sitting around. Or for some things I really want to use this as a decoration across the top, or I want to dip the whole piece in white. But of course the one that I personally use the most, being a huge chocoholic, is the chocolate flavor, and they call it almond bark, and I would just like to point out that it does not have any almond in it. So don't worry about if you have somebody with a nut allergy, whether or not you can use this. This is actually okay. You still can use this. And this is what we'll be using today when we make our candy bark. So let's get started. So today, for the purposes of this video, we're going to be focusing on just working with the chocolate flavored almond bark. So you can purchase this at the grocery store. I'm sure you can also find it on Amazon. If you choose to order the Wiltons, you can order that through their website. You can definitely order that through Amazon. You can also find versions of this and the Wiltons at different craft stores like Michael's. So now that you know where to find it, let's talk about what else you need to create your own chocolate bark. First, you're going to want some chunks of chocolate. This particular brand already comes sectioned off into these little rectangles, which is great. And you're going to want to put it in a microwave safe bowl, because you're just going to be popping it in and out of the microwave. We'll talk about that more in a second. You're going to want whatever you're actually putting in the chocolate bark. So in this case, I'm putting in dried apricot because I love dried apricot in chocolate. But you can do literally anything that you love with chocolate. Do you like crushed peppermint candies? Great, do that. How about crushed pretzels? Bam, do that. M&Ms? Bam, do that. Peanut butter cups? Shazam. I think you get the picture. Really, whatever you want. You can add decorations, you can add sprinkles, you can really, really dress this up. But for this moment, let's keep it simple. And for me, let's pretend that we're keeping it healthy with some dried apricot. Finally, you're going to need just a few more tools. You're going to definitely need your spoon to stir the chocolate. I also find that it's helpful to have an offset spatula to spread the chocolate. So I've got a small one and a large one. Sometimes the little one works better, sometimes the big one works better. But just, you really want this offset kind, so you can really get down in there and smooth it out as much as you want. Although it's not going to take a lot. And then finally, you're going to want a baking tray that you've lined with wax paper. This just makes it really easy to take your chocolate and slide it into the freezer. You'll be able to lift out the wax paper and break your bark up much easier that way. So a little prep work now really is going to save you some effort later. Let's go ahead and get started on the actual process. Great, so this is those same 3 rectangles all melted down. What I did to start with is I melted them for about 30 seconds, which barely made any difference at all. So I actually went ahead and did another 30 seconds. You really don't want to microwave it for longer than 30 seconds or you run the risk of burning your chocolate. Then I gave it a good stir, and that got most of the lumps incorporated, but there were still a few stubborn pieces, and I wanted this very smooth and very viscous, so I gave it another 15 seconds. Now you might find, depending on the weather, the humidity, all that kind of good stuff, that you're not really getting this nice spoonable texture that you want. Yeah. If that's the case, you might need to mix in a little bit of vegetable shortening, maybe like a tablespoonful. I really try to avoid that though. You definitely don't want to mix in water, or when it all sets, it's not going to have that nice crispness that chocolate has when you bite into it. So water, very bad idea. It will ruin it. But you could use vegetable shortening. But really, I try to avoid that whenever possible. So now that I have this all stirred up, couldn't be easier. I'm going to take my tray again, and I am just going to spoon the chocolate right onto this tray, and I'm just going to put it right in the center. Just want to get it all in there real quick. Yeah. Now, of course, that's way too thick. We all know chocolate bark is quite a bit thinner than that. So here is where our offset spatula comes in. Just use that to start smoothing it to the sides. You just want it to be kind of nice and smooth and not too thin, but you definitely don't want it to be super thick. You don't have to worry about having nice finished edges. It's chocolate bark. You've had chocolate bark. You know how it is. It's just a bunch of broken off pieces of chocolate with stuff mixed into it. Honest to God, it's the best. Oh, so happy. Now that you have all that smoothed out, set that to the side, and then you can just start sprinkling in your mix-ins. You're not worried about it, actually laying down and getting mixed and covered by the chocolate. You're really just sprinkling it randomly. And you also just want to take a few little handfuls. You don't want a whole ton in there. I mean, you can certainly, but when you're grabbing to just sprinkle it in, don't just grab a huge honking handful. You'll lose control pretty quickly. And with that, let's put another little piece right there. And with that, you're done with your first chocolate bark. Now, you can set it aside for like an hour or two and let it sit. Or you can be impatient like me, and then you're just going to put it in the fridge for like 5 minutes. 5 minutes should do it. We'll be right back. So this has spent 5 minutes in the fridge. If you're doing a thicker piece or you're doing quite a bit of other things, you'd probably want to go ahead and put it in the freezer, and you might want to plan on it taking up to 10 minutes. You're really just going to have to judge that on your own. But as you can see, when I take it out, it has a little bit of a frosty coating. Let's make sure you can see that. And that's how you know that it's done and that it's set. So now all you have to do is peel it off the wax paper, and you can really just bend it and break it, just like bark. Now it actually looks like maybe I could have let this one set just a little bit longer. It's a little bit more humid than I anticipated, but that's okay. I'll just throw it back in the fridge after this, and that'll let it set a little bit more. But as you can see, you can still break it off into those little bark-sized chunks. And in no time at all, you have a delicious snack that you can give to your friends for Christmas or for their birthday. You can really do anything you want. And as I'm going along, I'm seeing that I also could have put more chocolate in there. Not more chocolate, more apricot. Don't listen to me, I'm handling chocolate and I'm really excited about it. You also are noticing probably that some of the pieces of apricot do chip off. So what you're going to want to do is you'll just want to make sure that they're pressed in pretty good in there. You know, I neglected that step. I was in such an excited hurry to put this together because I just couldn't wait to share it with you. And there you have it. Can't wait to dig in. I'm just gonna grab a piece now. Yep, still a little soft. So I'll definitely want to put it in the fridge a little bit longer. But it doesn't matter. This is so good that even though I made a bunch of mistakes making it, it still came out great. Like, that's how easy chocolate bark is. So, I can't wait to see you for the next part of the series where I teach you, I'll probably teach you how to dip something. That's probably what's coming next. Dipping is only slightly more complicated than bark. Exciting stuff. See you next time.